Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. I have played this game previously on the PlayStation 4. I didn't do a casual review for it though. I have done a casual review for Miles Morales, in which this remastered game also came bundled with it. So I kind of played these out of order because Spider-Man Remastered takes place before Miles Morales. But I played Miles Morales first because I was more excited to play something new. But I knew going into this that I was in for a really good time because I really enjoyed my first playthrough of this game, and I also enjoyed this playthrough. It's got very similar controls to Miles Morales, obviously, because they're the same game engine, but yeah, basically you're Spider-Man, you're swinging through the city. Swinging feels really great. You can get a lot of upgrades by leveling up to make your traversal around New York City even more fast and speedy, and you get to do a lot of upgrades like launch yourself to a ledge, and then when you press X right when you hit the surface, then you like launch yourself forward, and it's really fun just swinging through the city doing tricks, all the Spider-Man-y things you could possibly expect. I know I kind of touched on a lot of this with the Miles Morales casual review, but you really do feel like Spider-Man. You're going around New York City, you're stopping crimes as they happen. There's a ton of additional side stuff to collect and challenges to do, which is the majority of what you'll be doing when you play this game, are all those little side icons all over the map. And in normal open world games, this does tend to burn me out, and I just usually ignore a lot of this side content and just focus on the main story, which is really great in its own right, and we'll get to the main story. But as far as like all this side content goes, that's pretty much like the majority of what you'll be doing. You'll be collecting backpacks, taking pictures of famous landmarks around New York City because Peter Parker is a photographer. You'll be stopping the crimes, like I said. You'll be taking pictures of these hidden cats for the little black cat hunt down. You'll be taking down enemy bases, and this part I didn't like as much as the other things because the enemy bases are basically first try to do a bunch of stealth takedowns, and then once you get to round 2, or if an enemy catches you, then it's basically just like an arena where you fight a bunch of bad guys. And on the surface this seems all well and good, but I found that these base battles, these arena battles, take way too long. There's like 5-6 different waves of enemies, and this can be like a 5 to 10 minute commitment depending on how stealthy you want to be, or if you just want to go in webs blazing. And compare this to a lot of those other little icons that you can do throughout New York City, like collecting backpacks and taking pictures of famous landmarks are quick, they're snappy. Even the random crimes that happen across the city are very quick. They're just one-off little battles with maybe like 10 guys, but it's quick, and I like doing those quick, snappy side quest things rather than taking down these bases, which can take a long time. In addition to these bases, you also have these objectives that you want to go for when you are taking down these bases, because those will earn you more base tokens. And basically you use tokens to upgrade your gadgets and your suits and unlock new suits, all these kinds of things. And so if you want more than just one base token, you're going to want to do the objectives that they recommend that you do. Now, if this is something that you normally use, if you're using your gadgets all the time, if you're doing stealth takedowns all the time, then the objectives just kind of fulfill themselves. But every once in a while you're going to get these objectives using combat techniques that you don't normally do, and so you'll feel kind of obligated to try and do those extra objectives, which usually will also increase the time that you're spending on these bases. There's other long extra content that you can do, like there's research stations all over the rooftops of New York City that your friend Harry Osborn set up for you, and they're just little things like purify the toxic water, or find water lines that have built up a bunch of pressure, so you need to relieve the pressure, or you have to like swing through these toxic clouds to collect chemical samples in the air. So you have to do a bunch of these little things too. These also weren't my favorite, but at least they didn't take as long as taking over these bases. Morales did. And those will net you some research tokens, also used for upgrading equipment and buying gear. By the end of the game, I was getting pretty burnt out doing all these side quests, and granted, they are optional. It's not like you do have to do these optional quests, but I still was enjoying the game enough that I wanted to do them, but at the same time, I was feeling burnt out by the end. Compare this to Miles Morales, which is a much shorter game, where I didn't get burnt out, and I didn't feel as overwhelmed with all these icons scattered all over New York City by the time I was done with that game. It is kind of worth it though, because these tokens that you earn really do unlock some really cool things, like your suits, for instance. All these suits, some are pretty silly, others look really, really cool, and these all show up in like all the cinematics. And in addition to this, whenever you do unlock a suit, it unlocks a new ability. That doesn't mean that you have to be wearing that suit to use that suit ability, but it is an additional unlock. In addition to this, you can also unlock 3 passive bonuses that you can equip at a time, and these passive bonuses are pretty nifty as well. For instance, mine, it would like slow down time after I do a perfect dodge, or net me some extra bonus XP whenever I defeat an enemy. And XP is used for whenever you level up, you get a skill point, and then you get to put a point in a skill tree. I felt like a lot of these things that I had to unlock on a skill tree for this game, I already had by default when I played through Spider-Man Miles Morales. So when I first started playing this game, I'm like, wait, why can't I do that? Is that only a Miles Morales thing? And then I look at the skill tree. Oh, okay, I have to unlock that through skill points. But the skill tree is pretty cool. A lot of the upgrades are exciting, and they are something to look forward to, and some incentive to level up Spider-Man as well. I've been using gadgets a lot more this playthrough than I did the first time around when I played this game. I've been tending to use gadgets and items a lot more for any video game that I play. So the gadgets are actually really nifty and cool when you use them, and it breaks up the combat, and it does make the combat go by faster when you do remember to use these. Because I remember the first time I was playing through this game, I would always forget to use my gadgets and just do my punches and my dodges, and that definitely extended the gameplay time in terms of like taking over bases and stuff. So when you use gadgets, these gadgets have like web bombs which fling enemies into the wall, or they have like little robot helpers that fire little shots at enemies. There's also like trip mines for when you're doing stealthy sections. So I definitely recommend using the gadgets to their full potential, and these gadgets can also be upgraded when you collect these tokens throughout the city. I also like when you level up, not only do you get a skill point for these skill trees, but every once in a while you do unlock passive bonuses, like your swing speed is faster, or your punches, your melee damage does more. And so that's kind of cool that even when you've reached the max level and you've collected all the skill points and unlocked all the skill trees, you can still level up to unlock more passive bonuses as well. So it makes you feel like you're progressively getting stronger stat-wise. As far as the main story goes, this game introduces a new villain that I haven't seen in any of the movies. I'm not really, I haven't seen a lot of the cartoons or anything like that, but this game introduces the villain Mr. Negative. And Mr. Negative is a pretty cool villain. I like the way he can like imbue this mystical energy power on weapons to give them like extra cool like black and white effects to it, and he can like mind control people, and he has a lot of cool powers. Visually he looks really cool too, where he has that like almost like UV light and dark kind of shading. This kind of envelops into an origin story for Doc Ock, and then you get to encounter a lot of other Spider-Man villains, you know, Vulture, Rhino, Lizard. I forgot that this game also acts as an origin story for Miles Morales, because when you do play Spider-Man Miles Morales, you're just kind of already web slinging, you're already doing your stuff, you're like a year into Miles Morales' journey. So I forgot that this game starts with how he got his powers. It's a pretty lame origin story for Miles Morales in this game compared to something like Enter the Spider-Verse. He's just moving some boxes and happens to get bit by a spider. But other than that, though, it does kind of introduce Miles Morales as a character, what he's about, and then you're supposed to play Spider-Man Miles Morales to learn more about his family, history, and story. There are sections in this game where you get to actually play as Miles Morales before he gets his Spidey powers, and you get to play as MJ, who is also a main character in this game. When you are playing as these characters, the game just slows down to a crawl. It's all about sneaking around guards and collecting information to give to Peter Parker. MJ does get equipped with a couple different things, like she gets a little beeping device that kind of like lures guards away from you to make them look away from your path. Miles Morales is equipped with like a little hacking device that can like set off electronic equipment or turn off drones, that kind of thing. And there are some cool sections, like when you're playing as MJ, and you can kind of like, you're partnering up with Spider-Man and you have to like tell Spider-Man when to do these stealth takedowns on enemies. That's cool sections. But when you're so used to playing as this fast-moving, web-slinging Spider-Man, and then you go to Mary Jane, MJ, and you have to like sneak around enemies and do all these puzzles and try and figure out these things, definitely not my favorite parts of the game, especially near the end. They're not huge sections, and usually they're not that troublesome, but by the end of the game, I was just bored of playing as MJ and Miles Morales. These characters will also call Spider-Man a lot, along with his little companion, his little detective police companion, who will call him and give him tips on like where to go, and they'll just have like conversations, building up relationships. And the idea is Spider-Man is supposed to be like swinging through the city, stopping crimes, that kind of thing, as he's on these phone calls. But these conversations get interrupted quite frequently, especially when you reach like a new point of interest, or you are starting to do like a new little side quest, or you reach your destination. It's like these conversations get cut off quite abruptly. And once you're done with whatever you're doing, sometimes Spider-Man will recall MJ or his police detective and say, oh, anyway, what were you saying? But like, it feels so disjointed that way that I feel like maybe they needed to plan out their conversations a little bit better. Like, oh, okay, so the next main objective is this far away. Let's keep our conversations kind of brief, because these conversations can last, you know, a good 2 minutes, and that's can be frequently interrupted by other objectives. The game is significantly longer than Miles Morales, but I do think I like the story better than Miles Morales, mainly because there was a lot more weight to it and a lot more emotional impact, a lot more recognizable characters, that kind of thing. Overall, it is a really fun package. Like, it is just fun swinging through New York City. The combat is fun. It's definitely engaging. Leveling up is fun. The story is, for the most part, fun. I just like playing this game, and I think it's definitely a must play if any of the things that I have mentioned piqued your interest at all. I think I will give this game a 5 out of 5, and once I take a video game palette cleanser from Spider-Man, I'm definitely looking forward to playing through Spider-Man 2, which is the culmination of Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!